Your sales data lives in Salesforce. Your transactions live in SQL Server. Your product catalog lives behind a REST API. Your historical records live on-premises. Marketing wants a unified dashboard combining all four. So your BI team writes custom scripts, one per source. Each one breaks when a schema changes. Nobody maintains them. The dashboard is always stale. This is the data integration problem. Azure Data Factory is Microsoft's answer, one managed service to move and transform data across every source. Azure Data Factory is a cloud-native ETL and data integration service. Extract, transform, and load data without managing servers. ADF connects to over 90 data sources natively: SQL databases, blob storage, Salesforce, SAP, REST APIs, Snowflake. Build visual pipelines in the designer. ADF executes them on the schedule you define, scaling automatically. You pay per pipeline run and compute used. No idle infrastructure cost. Think of it as the cloud-native successor to SSIS rebuilt from the ground up for scale. Understanding ADF's building blocks makes everything else click. A pipeline is a container for one logical job, say, copying all orders from SQL to Blob daily. Inside the pipeline are activities. A copy activity moves data. A data flow transforms it. A stored procedure runs logic in the database. Linked services store connection credentials once, reused across every pipeline. Datasets point to the specific table or file path within a linked service. Parameters let you deploy one pipeline template across environments without changes. The copy activity is what ADF was originally built around and remains its most used feature. Source and sink define where data comes from and where it lands. ADF handles connection pooling, REST pagination, partition reads for large SQL tables, and writing Parquet files to ADLS. Parallel copies let you tune how aggressively ADF reads from the source. Fault tolerance lets you log bad rows and keep going. The few dirty records do not abort a full multi-hour load job. Most tutorials skip this. Don't. Data flows are where ADF crosses from data movement into transformation. Design the transformation visually, add a filter, join two datasets, aggregate by region, flatten a nested JSON field. ADF compiles that visual graph into Spark and runs it on a managed cluster. No Spark code to write. Schema drift handling is especially powerful. If your source adds a new column, ADF adapts at runtime instead of crashing your pipeline and paging your on-call team. ADF gives you 3 trigger types, and choosing the wrong one costs you. Schedule triggers fire at a clock time every day at 2 a.m., simple and predictable. Tumbling window triggers are for windowed analytics. Each 1-hour window runs independently, with backfill support if a run was missed. Event-based triggers fire the moment a file lands in storage, no polling delay, near real-time ingestion. The dependency chain feature lets you enforce ordering, only run window T+1 after T completes successfully. The ADF Monitor Hub is one of its strongest operational features. Every pipeline run is logged: when it started, how long each activity took, how many rows were copied, and exactly what error occurred if it failed. Drill down to any individual activity run. Set Azure Monitor alerts to notify your team the moment a critical pipeline fails, not when someone notices a stale dashboard at 9 a.m. Connect ADF to Microsoft Purview for column-level data lineage tracing across your entire data platform. This next part is where most teams waste money by choosing the wrong runtime. Azure IR is the default works for any cloud-to-cloud movement, nothing to configure. Self-hosted IR is what you install in your on-premises environment or private VNet to copy SQL Server or SAP data into Azure. It calls out to ADF over HTTPS, no inbound firewall holes needed. Azure SSIS IR runs your existing SSIS packages in the cloud without any rewrite. Immediate lift and shift for organizations that have years of SSIS investment. 3 patterns every ADF practitioner uses. Incremental load from SQL, store a watermark timestamp, copy only rows where modified date exceeds it, update the watermark after each run, efficient and idempotent. Salesforce Delta Sync, the native ADF connector with Delta query on last modified date pulls only changed records. Multi-environment pipelines, parameterize server names and schema names, one pipeline template, 3 parameter files for dev, staging, and production. ADF is the backbone of most Azure data platforms. This is part 31 of the Azure series. Subscribe and keep going. Next up, Azure Synapse Analytics.